Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Uh, my topics for US4 are types of hackers, Amrita O Labs, and a third topic. So first, I'll explain types of hackers. So basically, there are 5 types of hackers. The first one is a beginner. Beginner is a type of hacker who is just learning to hack some systems. He possesses very basic knowledge of hacking the computers or getting into other people's computer by means of by legal means or illegal means. So that is a beginner. He is a very basic hacker. He doesn't have that much mastery over his subject. The second one is a black hat hacker. A black hat hacker is an expert, a mastermind who knows how to get into the systems, but he uses his skills, his knowledge to do things that are not legal, that are illegal, that are prohibited. So, the type of hacker who gets into the system by the intention of stealing data or getting someone else's information illegally, that is known as a black hat hacker. Then there is hacktivist. Hacktivist is a type of hacker who hacks someone else's computer or someone else's system with the intention of sending a message. This type of hackers are those who are trying to fight for some motive. They have some motive that I want to prove this to world. I want to prove this. The example of hacktivists are some environmentalists who hack into big multinational companies' systems to show them that how much harm they are doing to the environment. So that is an example of hacktivist. Then there is white hat hacker or ethical hackers. White hat hackers or ethical hackers are those type of hackers who legally, by legal means, hack into a system with the permission or the authority of the owner of that system or that company or that website. So these hackers help the owner of these systems into finding the loopholes in their system. What loopholes they have in their own system, that is found out by white hat hackers who hack someone else's system with their permission for legal means. Then last is grey hat hacker. Now grey hat hacker is someone who is a mixture of black hat hacker and a white hat hacker as well. He possesses the skills to hack into someone else's system, but he uses it either for positive means with the permission of the owner or by the negative means without the permission of the owner for his own benefit, for his other intentions, ulterior motives. So that is a grey hat hacker. He possesses both the good qualities and the bad qualities of a hacker. So these were the basic 5 types of hackers in their explanation. Next topic is Amrita O Labs. Amrita O Labs is an initiative by Government of India, and its motive is to enable the students to learn certain subjects online without requiring infrastructural facilities. Let's say that if you are a physics student and you want to do certain experiments which are very much necessary and crucial in learning the physics subject, then you have to do it physically with the help of those chemicals, those infrastructure. You need to do those experiments. But with the help of Amrita O Labs, you can do such experiments of class 10th, 11th and 12th digitally online without having those infrastructure from the comfort of your place. So this is a type of an example of how easy online education can be. So in Amrita O Labs, there are 5 main subjects in which you can do experiments. First is physics. Class 11th and 12th physics is covered here. All the experiments chapter wise are given in those applications. Then second is chemistry. Same with chemistry. The chemistry experiments are also given in Amrita O Labs. You can perform it digitally online. Third is biology. Biology experiments are also done, such as dissection. So dissection is done digitally in online form. Then maths labs, we all know those experiments are also done, and in this subject class 6 to 12th are covered. In first 3 subjects only 11 12th is there. In last 2 subjects class 6 to 12th is there. Maths, and the last one is English. This is a grammatical compilation, so that you can learn the principles of grammar and of the language very easily with the help of digital application. We can say experiment, but application to learn the language easily. Now my third topic is internet resources. Internet resources, we all know internet is a big web of networks which connects us with the whole entire world. Now, what is internet resources? Internet resources are basically those resources which are available on the internet. Those things, we can say. What are resources? Things. Certain things we can use in our day-to-day life. Those things which are available on the internet are known as internet resources. Now we can categorize internet resources into basic seven types. First is the files. Files can be in the form of PDF, in the form of document, Excel sheets, photos, videos, anything. So file is the first type. It can be of any context, any subject. You can get it from the internet for your own use. Second is videos. We all know platforms such as YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, where you can find certain videos which can be useful in your context of education. Third is tools. Now tools are certain applications which you can use for your education, such as Amrita O Labs. So when you download that application is a tool by the means of which you can perform those experiments. Then fourth is documents. Documents again can be in form of what? PDF, Excel sheet, PPTs, then Word documents, and so on. Then images. We all know that when we want to add something to our educational content, we use the relevant images and we search it on the internet, we download it, and then we use it for our content. So image is also one type of resource you can use from the internet for your own educational context. Then text information, that is when you search something on the search engine on the internet, thousands of search results appear in front of you in form of text information. You analyze it, you deduct it, and you use it according to your intentions or according to your needs. And last is others. These are general categorization of type of resources available on the internet, and there are some exceptions which are included in others which you can also use, such as the websites available on the internet, then audio files available on the internet. Those are included in other type of resources which are available on the internet. Thank you.
47, and my today's topic is collaboration tools. So there are basically 3 collaboration tools: Wikipedia, social networking, and web conferencing. So the first is Wikipedia. Wiki is the term wiki is taken from the Hawaii language, which means to quick, very fast. Basically, Wikipedia is a dynamic database where lots of information is available. So let's see the advantage and disadvantage of Wikipedia. The first one is available for everyone. Wikipedia is tool which is freely available for everyone. We need only internet access for that, and we don't have to pay for it. The second is anyone can edit. On Wikipedia, information can be edited by anyone any person can edit the information, and it is very easy to use by people. And Wikipedia is accessible from anywhere of the world, and at any time, any place you can access information from Wikipedia. And the last one is watch feature. So watch feature is one type of feature which notifies us whatever changes take place in the information of Wikipedia. Okay, now disadvantages. So the first one is information can be incomplete. We have seen that anyone can edit the information. So it may happen that the information may be incomplete or incorrect. And the third one is no formal structure. So it is the biggest limitation of Wikipedia that there is no formal structure and the information may be disorganized manner. Now my second topic is social networking. Social networking is a networking site which connects people all over the world through computer network. So educational use of social networking, the first one is information to students. We can inform students about any educational information about through social networking. Then the second is planning of program. Any program that is planned in school or colleges, it can be informed to students through social network. After completion of program, we can share photos and videos of the program to the students through social networking sites, and we can inform students about the job opportunities through social networking, and we can also take feedback from parents and students about completion about the course through social networking. Okay, my last topic is web conferencing. Web conferencing is any kind of online meeting in which two or more participants connect to share the information. In which there are three parties. The first one is host. Host is the person who schedules the meeting and who organizes the meeting, and he will invite the guest to join the meeting. Then second party is presenter. Presenter is the person who is going to present the meeting and will.
First of all, my topic is browser. This is like inevitable part of our life nowadays, because we cannot survive without browser. But many a time it is misconceptions with the internet. Internet is something very different from browser. Browser is an application program through which we can get the information very handy on our fingertips, whatever and whichever information we require. So browser is a application on which we can type whatever information we require. So browser helps us getting information from internet, and it connects us to the World Wide Web, from where it collects all the data, it filters the data and gives us what we require. Here are some types of browsers. Safari, Chrome. Chrome is very much used nowadays. Firefox is something of older type. UC browser is very much in use. Internet Explorer was the very first browser that came into existence when the internet was developed. Then it is Opera. My second topic is search strategies. Search strategies, we keep searching on Google browser whatever information we require. So it is basically divided into two types. First is basic and then advanced. Basic is whatever information we require, we simply type it in the browser, and whatever information we get is basic information or basic search strategy. Advanced is when we write phrase search, Boolean search, field search and plus minus sign. Advanced search is one step ahead of basic search, wherein when we search anything on internet, we get the information in bulk. We keep getting information on list of pages on and on. So advanced search helps us to get the specific information what we want. So phrase search is like, suppose environmental pollution. So you give it in hyphens and then you get the environmental phrase search, and then whatever information related to the environmental pollution, we will get the information on our browser. Second is Boolean search. Booleans we add, when we add apostrophes or hyphens, we add and or not. These are the connecting words which helps us get the information this or that, or particular this only, or included. These are the things that help us Boolean search. This helps, Boolean search helps us in finding that type of information. Then field search and plus minus search, plus minus signs is used when we require some information we have already searched it for before and we don't need require it in, further, then we can put the minus sign in front of that word and that information will be deleted. And if we want the information further as well, then we can put the plus sign in the front of that word or that phrase and we'll keep on getting the information of that topic. My last topic is Angira. Angira is academic network global information research for academicians. This platform is developed by IIT Gandhinagar and it is a massive open online courses available for everyone. Especially for it is designed for people who are doing their professional courses in B.Ed and MA. They give us literature and digital learning on this platform. We get all the videos, audios, e-tutorials, references and evaluations on this platform. Thank you.
Assistive technology. We have studied earlier about assistive technology. Short revision we are going to do. First of all, what is assistive technology? It is that kind of technology, or we can say a helping hand, which helps disabled people for functioning in their life. For example, if a child is disabled in reading or writing, so these all are helping hands in that. For example, we can take first one is text to speech in reading. So that is one helping hand in that the software and applications are there the person can use to read. So this all the names you all can Google it and you all can see which are the softwares and tools are there. Okay. Next topic. Yes. Now next topic is email. We are very familiar with this topic. Everyone uses email. Everyone sends messages. Some or the other time we have used this topic in our daily life. Now, first of all, email is an electronic mail. Now, mail means a letter. Letter which is written through electronic device, which accepts, sends, deliver and store messages in the phone. It is done through electronic device. Now we are going to see the next what are the important things of the emails when we write, this advantages and disadvantages. Quickly we are going to revise it. Yes, the first point is things to keep in mind. Any one of you read it? While writing email, what are the points that we should keep in mind?
Address,
Yes.
short and appropriate, grammatical correctness, easy to understand, proper address, resolution.
Yes. See, now the first one is address. The address should be correct. Then your email should be short and appropriate. It should not be long that while decoding the message the reader is impatient that what the message it is. Then easy to understand. Your language should be clear that the decoder understands it very clearly. Then again it is proper address, and the last thing is conclusion. Your email or whatever letter you are going to write, it should be concluding. Yes. Now the advantages. Kashana, please read.
No cost, promptness, message can be stored, secure, popular media.
Yes. Right. Now see, for this the advantage is no cost. Why no cost? Who is going to tell me? Yes.
Myself, Sayyid Hina Qasim Muhammad Hanif, and my roll number is 53. Today's my topic for presentation is computer adapted assessment. So what is computer adapted assessment? Is a way to evaluate the learner by the online mode. Okay. So here what we do is that we ask the questions, or we take the test of the student, and the test is taken in online way. Okay, so what the computer adapted assessment does that
that system asks the question to the students on the basis of their replies of their answers. That the next question will be based on the answer which on the present answer. For example, if the student answered the question wrongly or incorrect, so the computer system will gonna ask the easy question further. Or for example, if the student answers the questions correctly, so the system will gonna ask the hard question. So this is all the computer adapted assessment works. So uses of computer adapted assessment is measuring learning abilities of student. Okay, then useful for both formative and summative assessment done online, and improves teachers teaching strategies. Okay, so how the teacher should teach it can be improved by the computer adapted assessment. Advantages. So ability is given importance. So it is totally based on the learner's learning ability, how the learner learns. So importance is given to the ability of the learner. Reliable, it is reliable because it based on the replies or answers of the question asked to the learner itself. Short and precise questions. The questions format is really short and precise, and immediate result are taken immediately after the test. And this, if I talk about disadvantages, that it required more questions because it is individually. Okay, so the teacher have to ask the student individually questions. So teacher have to frame more and more questions to cover all the class, the total population. Require more time. It is obviously that if the teacher have to ask so many questions, so it will take more time to build the questionnaire. Okay, then require more energy. Okay, and require internet connection as well because it is computer adapted assessment. It done online. Now moving forward, the next. Okay, so next is e-publication. So e-publication, the full form of e-pub is e-publication. So it is a online platform for all the e-readers because here all the e-books are available. There are many softwares and applications are available on computers and iPhones and Android Play stores as well. So full name of the e-book is electronic publication provide attractive options for e-books. There are lot many books are available on this platform. Develop own library. So here the learner and the teacher both can develop their library according to their need. They can choose the topic and can prepare their notes here. Then adjustable size of the letter here. So if someone have numbers, someone have numbers on eyes or use spectacles, so they can adjust the font of the books as well. Then background color of e-books can be changed if the learner or if the teacher, if the user wants to design his or her own book, so he can or she can change the color of the background and size of the font and type of the font on their own. Many softwares and apps are available to read books on this platform, as I told you. Word or PDF file can be easily converted into EPUB format. It is a very important and we can say a useful point that a Word file or PDF file can be converted into a book. Many of the time or many of the softwares doesn't give us such facilities. Can be installed in all electronic devices, whether it tablet or laptop or iPhone or normal Android phone. Now next is podcasting. So we all are aware of podcasting. Podcasting is is a channel. Okay, it's a channel on which we upload our recordings on or upload our thoughts on certain points. So top courses and distributes the recording. So if the teacher want to give certain knowledge about certain topics, so except for teaching in the class, the teacher can also give the podcasting audio of the topic, and the student can learn it anywhere. He can hear it anywhere or any time of the time of his or her availability. No more missed classes. So if there is a channel of podcasting of particular class, so no more classes will be missed because the audio recording of the class is given already out there. Then can be used for source materials. Teacher can upload audio material for the syllabus given. Briefly elaborate on what you want to discuss. So teacher can discuss the topic briefly or the way the teacher wants to in the podcasting channel. Authenticated listening resources because it is given by authenticated sources. So it will be a authenticated material for the students as well. Audio material for blind and distance learners. This is very helpful for the for people who are disabled by visually disabled, and the students who learn from very far away from the university or the college. Just aid for rural learning. यहाँ पे मेरा टाइपिंग मिस्टेक है. Okay. Justificable for rural learning अगर कोई है, if the student is reached from very far area, so here the podcasting can help the student to complete his or her studies. Then easy access and no wastage of time and energy, as we can hear the audio recordings of material from anywhere while traveling or while doing stuff at the house. So it is really very time saving, I can say. This is all about podcasting. Thank you very much.
First topic of mine is e-portfolio. First of all, what is e-portfolio? E-portfolio is collection of work, or you can say the evidence, in an electronic format that showcases learning over time. It can be related to a person or a person who is looking for some occupation. E-portfolio is divided into three parts, that are professional e-portfolio, personal e-portfolio, and academic e-portfolio. Let's see what is professional e-portfolio. Professional e-portfolio contains records of goals, professionals' attributes developed over time by a person, records of achievement. Professional e-portfolio is basically related to the resume we make for any kind of work, or as a student we prepare to get into any higher education college or in any institute. Personal e-portfolio is basically made by a person, and it is about the collection or the records of personal aspects, or the person who wants to fulfill any kind of goal or any kind of wishes they want to fulfill. Academic e-portfolio is related to facilitate documents for student learning tool for students to clarify their educational goals they have learned over time. Academic e-portfolio is related to the students, and the students mainly use academic e-portfolio to apply for any higher education institute, and they inculcate any kind of achievements they have acquired in that academic e-portfolio. My next topic is Internet and Communication Technology. Okay, so let's see the access of information and communication technology in our day-to-day life. First of all is internet access. Second, hardware and software. Like we get application of hardware and software in our day-to-day lives. Third is acquiring data or transferring of data. Yes, we use in search engines like browser, Google and Chrome, and we try to get different kinds of data related to any kind of topic, let's say educational topics, for our any kind of project or assignments or any kind of research we are doing. Cloud computing. ICT includes diverse set of technological tools and resources. The technology used to handle telecommunication, broadcast, media, intelligent building, management system, audio-visual processing, transmission system, network-based control, and monitoring function. Now let's move to the third topic. Internet. What is internet? Yeah, life, I know. But internet is internet connection plus network. Without network, we have no access of internet. Let's see what is the what actually the internet means and what are the things that we acquire from internet. The first thing, the internet is the world's largest network. The internet is the basic thing where everything is connected. Like, for example, our social media, everything like search engines, our laptops, our mobile phones, everything is connected to internet. So we can say that internet is the largest network in the world. Second, it is a set of more than one network. Like, for example, we have heard about the WhatsApp getting shut down because of some server error. We have heard about how Instagram or any other social platform getting shut down because of some server error. So we can say that when any kind of error occurs in the company or wherever that social media is located, we can say that such kind of problems arises. Third is source for acquisition of various types of resources. As I said earlier, there are various kind of resources we take from internet, like for assignments, for any kind of research work, and of course you can say that from what kind of search engines, Google's or Chrome, right? Fourth point is effective mode to communicate with each other and exchange information. We share our thoughts, we share our whatever opinion we want to give on any kind of issue or any kind of topic. So internet is a very good source, a very necessary or important source for us to convey our messages to the world. Fifth point is sources through which people can share and express thought. Similarly, like the earlier point, internet is a source through which people can share their thoughts, they can express their views on any kind of topic. Thank you.
Thank you. Myself Presha Chauhan, roll number 44. As a part of this mind map presentation, I have 3 topics. First one is chat, second one is blogging, and third one is rubrics generator. Let us start with chat first. A very common communication tool that we use every minute of our life. આપણી સવાર પણ ચેટથી થાય છે અને રાત્રે ઊંઘતા પહેલા બી. Let us check the WhatsApp, is there any message or not. There are different tools that we use as a part of chat. Let him continue. This is also a part of chatting. Like for example, WhatsApp, very commonly used in our country. Other than this, Instagram, Snapchat, other country tools like Line ID, Viber also, WeChat also, Google Hangouts also. These are different types of chat applications. Now let us understand what do we mean by chat. The very first message says that chat is an informal way of communication where we can exchange ideas, thoughts with the other person. That means compulsory 2 people are supposed to be there. જેમ કે અહીંયા chatting ગજબની ચાલી રહી છે, continuous, બંધ જ નથી થતા. What type of chatting we can perform? It can be text messages, voice messages, video chats, or even group chat also is possible. Now let us see how we can use this chat in education in our field. First one is improved parental control. With the help of parents' numbers, we can quickly communicate the progress of students to their parents. So parental controls, parental interactions can be improved with the help of chat. Second one is quick reminders and announcements. For example, our college official group, if there is holiday, a message is dropped by Sahil sir or Gadi ma'am. Second, if there is a CCE to be taken, any professor will drop a message to the group and it will be communicated to all the participants present in that group. Next one is increases peer collaborations. This is the thing that we are observing from very first semester, right from micro teaching till last our LPC presentations also. We were creating a group communicating our ideas, accepting ideas from others. So it will help us to improve peer communications also. Next one is multimedia sharing contents that we already know, we have implemented many times in our life. And last one is it fosters camaraderie. What do we mean by camaraderie? It develops trust and friendship amongst peers. That is a word, camaraderie. So it helps us foster camaraderie. Now let us proceed to second topic, that is blogging. Very few of us might be doing that. Akhil bhai, please level up. Thank you. Second one is blogging. Blogging is a series of posts. It is a procedure of uploading content online, and it is a very highly used social media tool to spread content for a larger mass. There are three other terms that are used in blogging. First one is blogger. The person who is uploading content or writing the content is known as a blogger. Second one is blog post. The content that is being uploaded is considered as blog post. And last one is comments. The viewers, the readers that are reading that blogs and presenting their views to that particular blog is considered as comments. Now quickly, let us see advantages and limitations, and lastly we will see the procedure. First advantage is how blogging is used in education. The very first thing is, it is a publicly accessed journal. Any person from any place can open this blog, read the content and get the knowledge. Second one is, it can be used as a course plan. For example, if there is a MOOC platform and it wants to provide you a knowledge regarding any particular course, then they can use blogging as a tool. Next one is, it will improve our writing skills. Why writing skills? Because the more we read, the more we get, and the more we can implement in writing. Next is, it develops communication. No need to explain that. Next one is multimedia. Multiple forms of media are used in that. Videos are also posted. Writing content is also posted. Images also shared in blog. Let us see the limitations of blogging. The very first thing is, it might not be trusted sometimes. Authenticity of that particular blog depends on the writer and the way that content is presented. So it cannot be always reliable. Next one, it needs a lot of time to update regularly. For example, any political event is we consider any political event right now, it needs to be updated on a daily basis. So it takes a lot of time and lot of efforts. So it is a drawback of blogging. And last one is, there can be many useless blogs available online which are of no use to students, and still they are there, getting views and attractions and distracting students. Lastly, let us see the procedure of uploading a blog. First, we have to open any of these available websites for blogging. Here I have shown the procedure of a blogger post. We have to open the website, log in with our Gmail, create a password. We have to select a title, any title suitable for our content. We can create a URL after creating title or selecting title. Then we have to select theme and design as per our choice, and we can continue with writing content on that. Last one is rubrics generator. Already Priyank has explained in a very well manner. There are two types of rubrics, holistic and analytic. Here I have shown very short meaning of rubrics, that it is a matrix tool for assessment purpose of assignments which are given to the students. Now there are two types. First one is holistic and second one is analytic rubrics. Holistic rubrics give us an overview of the grading system. All the assessment components are clubbed in a grade system and it is presented grade wise, like grade 1 to 5, and each grade has all the assessment components in it. Second one is analytic rubrics. Here not only grade headings are given, but each and every assessment component is shown separately. It is useful to both teachers also and students also. I'll not go in a deep explanation about that. But how we can effectively use rubrics, I'll give a quick overview of that. First one is consider developing online rubrics. Online હશે તો તમે તમારું કામ easily and quickly કરી શકશો. Next one is try to develop new rubric for new assignment. We cannot do like 5 assignments given to students and create one common rubric. It will create confusion for both the parties, students also as well as teachers also. Next one is we have to be transparent. We have to be bias free while creating a rubric so that equivalent evaluation of each and every student is possible. Next is integrate the rubrics into assignments. Assignments ની requirement હોય એ પ્રમાણે તમે તમારા rubric ને generate કરો. પછી એવું ના થાય કે assignment ક્યાંક ચાલી રહ્યું હોય અને તમારા rubrics ના points જે હોય કંઈક અલગ જ દિશામાં ચાલી રહ્યા હોય. Last two are revise the rubrics as and when required, and last is rubrics are to be leveraged to manage time. તમારે time ને cover કરવા માટે થઈને તમારે rubric ને time to time update કરતા રહેવું જોઈએ or else rubrics નો વધારે પડતો use કરવો જોઈએ. That is it. Thank you.
So, we all have created this Google form. In semester 2, in semester 1, we all have created this, and we all know that how this is used for survey basis, for even exams are taken based on this. So, as it is Google form, the name itself suggests that the developer is Google. Then, how to create it? So first, we have to click on Drive. We have to click on the website drive google.com. Then we have to click new. We have to scroll down to Google Forms, and then next to Google Form point to the right arrow and click blank form. A blank form will be applied on your screen, and then we can blank quiz or form a template. We can form our own template, or there is already a template given and we can edit that in that form according to our needs. Whatever, if you want to add a picture or if you want to add a graph, according to it we can do it. Then comes its features. As we all know that we can create online form, we can send surveys based on this and access anywhere. Then analyze responses with automatic surveys. Then we can create and respond to surveys from anywhere. So if I am sitting here and from a foreign country, if someone is sending me a Google form, I can sit here and I can fill that form because it is very easily accessible. Now we will be talking about advantages and disadvantages. Now we all know that Google form is 100% free. We can create unlimited forms based on this. Strong features like file upload element. We can upload even a file. It can be an image, it can be a graph, it can be a text, it can be an animation based. So we can do that. Strong features like file upload element. Easily collaborate with colleagues with Google accounts to build forms. We can easily depending on an internet connection. Next. We all are aware about this. It is an online interactive platform to connect people all around the world. We have used this during COVID times, especially if I can say. Developer is Microsoft. It is developed by Microsoft because the name itself suggests Microsoft Teams. Then it can be used in iOS, Android or Windows system. Then its initial release date is 2017. It was first released in the year 2017. If we talk about features, we all know we can meet anyone at any place, anywhere. We can meet on any device. It can be the laptop, mobile phone or anything else. It is meet everyone around the world, can easily accessible by teachers and students. Yes, this can be included in our benefit because we all have used this. And virtual face-to-face communication is also possible because in this there are features like video calling, audio calling, sharing files. So these are all the features and it is safe to use.
If we talk about advantages, there are a number of advantages here. There is a whiteboard sharing, we all know about it. Screen sharing is also available. Video recording is also available. We can even share files here. Different chat options are also given, so we can chat accordingly. If we have any doubts, so according to that we can have personal chat communication through which we can solve our doubts with respective teachers. Then reliable connectivity and conferencing quality is also good. User friendly and a compliant interface. So it is very easy to use. Once we create an account here, then it is very easily usable by us. It is very easy to use. Can create or join meeting. We all know that how to create a meeting, how to join meeting, how to create a channel in it. Useful chat addition, increased productivity. Can remove participants or add participant. Yes, this is one of the most important advantage. If some other person joins our channel or some other person tries to join in our meeting, we can remove that participant, or someone is disturbing in the meeting, we can remove them, we can add them there. And there is also an option in MS Teams wait in a lobby. There is lobby waiting in there. If we add them, then they are added to our meeting, otherwise not. Code is also shareable and link is also shareable in this. So these are all the advantages. Now if we talk about disadvantage, so there becomes a problem while screen sharing. In certain times what happens is, due to network connectivity issues, the screen sharing is not easily done there. Then permission to all, as we all know that it gives permission to each and every. Yes, permission to join. One needs to ask a permission for joining it. Then and only then one can add. It has limited features. Only limited participants can join. Not easy to access. No scheduled meeting we can have in this. Yes, we can create a meeting. We can give a timer for that. But we can't say that a meeting will be created on this day, on this particular time. So that feature is not easily available here. And no meeting recording is done by any other participant. Only the host can record that meeting. Then is limited number of channels. One cannot access to a lot many of channels on this platform. So this is all about the disadvantages. Now, last topic is Zoom. Zoom is an online platform where people are connected all around the world through this platform. If we talk about features, we can meet from any place, we can meet safely, we can meet clearly, virtual face-to-face communication, meet on any device and meet everyone around the world. So now if we talk about advantages, the first advantage is this feature also gives us whiteboard, screen sharing. Teacher can use very effectively this whiteboard. Screen sharing is also done. Can easily host meetings. We can host any meeting very easily. Recording is also possible. We can join from any device. Content sharing is also done in this. So if you want to attach any PDF, document or anything else, we can do it here. Reliable connectivity and conference quality is also good. User-friendly and uncomplicated interface. It is very easy to use this platform. Expensive features and productivity tools. There are lot many of tools in this where we can use it. If we open Zoom interface, there are many. We have options like video calling, mute, unmute. If you want to speak, there is a microphone given there. No password required to join a meeting. If we have the link, we can clearly join a meeting and can create or join meeting. We can do this very easily. Now if we talk about disadvantages, the main disadvantage here is screen sharing problem. Second is browser freezing problems. At certain times Zoom has this disadvantage that the platform gets freezed due to connectivity issues. Limited feature in comparison. We need permission to join. Just like MS Teams, here also we need permission to join in any meeting. cannot host large meetings. The maximum time limit is 40 minutes, not more than that any meeting one can host this, and it has limited features. One benefit of, if we compare Zoom and MS Teams, one benefit is in Zoom we can have about 100 to 1000 of participants in this, but in MS Teams there is a limited number. So this is the difference between Zoom and MS Teams. Thank you.
First of all, we have to understand the concept of LMS. LMS is a learning management system. Learning management system is nothing but online platform or portal which helps in the enhance the quality as well as the features of teaching learning process. The concept of LMS was firstly introduced in 1924 when learning machines are introduced in teaching learning process. After that, with the growth of technology, or else you can say with the growth of online digital media and internet, this the concept of LMS shift to teaching machines to digital platform. The LMS help the student as well as teacher to design a course in a way so it can be accessible to each and everyone, and it eliminates the geographical boundary, the limitation of the geographical boundaries. First of all, it's a software which is user friendly, attractive and open source. Means it is free for everyone. The official website is xert.org.uk. Means it is designed by UK in UK. The main use is for skill of tutor. Means if you want to give tuition or provide knowledge of specific content which is in sequential order, you can arrange that whole program in an online mode. It is also important for case study. In research work, we all know that we always have requirement of that already existing material about anything or any particular topic or any particular person. So it is also helpful for the same. We can create mind map, quiz, presentation, video, etc. We can create content, edit content and refer already available content. No need to download, we can use it online, so there is a save of our phone memory or device memory, etc. Next is Powtoon. Powtoon, the name suggests it is made of two words. First is PowerPoint plus cartoon. Means it is nothing but animation of the PowerPoint. Means there are three steps. Write a script first of all. We have to write a script, then record a voiceover. We have to record our voice according to the script and add the visuals. Means this is nothing but a process of video making. If you want to create any video, we have to write a script, then record our voice for the same, and then we can add the visuals. Come to the features of the Powtoon. It gives animation. We can animate means we can move any object which is available in any particular JPEG or PNG image from one side to another side. Then we can make video. Then we can get access of already made video, and we can animate the same also. We can give sound. We can make any content in a easy and we can present any content in easy and attractive form. Can be used of making video and interactive video. Next is adapt. The adapt, the word suggests ADA. A means ask. Ask question to gain awareness about any particular thing. D stands for describe. Describe your thoughts, feelings and behavior. Then A, assess. Assess your behavior, obstacle and warning signs. Then P, plan. how to ask for a help, and T, talk with the trusted adult who adults about what's going on in a particular genre. Thank you.
नंबर 23 है। आज मैं आपको 3 टॉपिक में से फर्स्ट पॉइंट एक्सप्लेन करने जा रही हूँ, जो है वायोलेशन ऑफ कॉपीराइट। इसका मीनिंग क्या होता है कि मीनिंग है इसका द लीगल राइट टू बी द ओनली पर्सन हु कैन प्रिंट, कॉपी और परफॉर्म। मतलब कोई भी चीज़ है उसको अगर प्रिंट करवाना है, उसकी कॉपी निकालनी है या उसको परफॉर्म करना है तो मतलब उसके अगर परमिशन के बिना कोई करता है तो उस पर ये एक्ट लागू होता है। दिस इज वैलिड फॉर ऑल द काइंड ऑफ लिटरेचर, आर्टिस्टिक थिंग, इनोवेटिव आइडिया। जितने भी बुक्स है, जितने भी कोई आर्ट वाली चीज़ें, लाइक किसी ने कोई पेंटिंग की है, अगर उसकी हम कॉपी करते हैं तो उसके ऊपर ये लागू हो सकता है। थर्ड पॉइंट है लिटरेचर म्यूजिक नॉट अवेलेबल Things such as copying, publishing, playing, translating and making changes are prohibited। मतलब अगर हम किसी चीज़ को कॉपी कर रहे हैं, अगर इंग्लिश में लिखा है हम उसको किसी और लैंग्वेज में ट्रांसलेट करके वही बुक को सेम बुक को प्रिंट कर रहे हैं तो इनवैलिड काउंट होगा। इन कंप्यूटर फील्ड में हम कैसे कर सकते हैं? So copying of computer sources and selling of computer program are the violation of copyright। मतलब कि कोई भी कंप्यूटर प्रोग्राम है अगर हम उसको कॉपी करके एज इट इज हम सेल कर रहे हैं तो ये वायलेट का एक पार्ट हो जाएगा। नाउ कंडीशन ऑफ कॉपीराइट एक्ट। तो कॉपीराइट एक्ट होता क्या है? वंस इट इज पब्लिश्ड इट विल बी अंडर कॉपीराइट टिल 60 years of publication irrespective of the person is living or die। अगर जैसे मतलब मैंने कुछ अगर कोई प्रिंट करवाया, मतलब मैंने किसी चीज़ के ऊपर कॉपीराइट लिया तो वो 60 ईयर तक वैलिड होगा। और भले ही मतलब मेरी लाइफ उसके पहले ही फिनिश हो रहा है बट स्टिल मतलब वो उस चीज़ पर 60 ईयर तक कॉपीराइट लागू रहेगा। लास्ट पॉइंट, पनिशमेंट टू बी डन। अगर कोई ऐसा करता है तो उसे क्या पनिशमेंट मिलेगी? सो इफ अ पर्सन वायलेटिंग द लॉ ही शी हैज टू पे फाइन बिटवीन 50K to 2 lakh एंड 6 months ऑफ इन जेल। मतलब उसको इतना फाइन भी पे करना पड़ेगा और जेल में इम्प्रिजन भी रहना पड़ेगा।
Need to translation. Only explain in English. Can translate time with that.
Next point is plagiarism definition. The act of copying another person's ideas, words or work and pretending that are your own। मतलब वो उसको खुद का ही मान लेगा। रीजन क्या हो सकता है? So copying without mentioning the writer's name and inverted comma। मतलब क्या होता है? जैसे कि किसी का कोई स्टेटमेंट है, तो हम उसको कॉमा में मेंशन करते हैं, बट अगर हम कॉमा बिना राइट कर रहे हैं, मतलब बिना उसका नेम रोटेट करते, मतलब नेम नोट किए बिना राइट करेंगे तो वो प्लेगियरिज्म का एक्ट हो जाएगा। ऑब्जेक्टिव्स ऑफ यूजीसी 2018। तो अब प्लेगियरिज्म को रोकने के लिए ये ऑब्जेक्टिव स्टार्ट किए गए हैं। नाउ टॉलरेंस ऑफ प्लेगियरिज्म, देयर आर 2 टाइप्स ऑफ टॉलरेंस। द फर्स्ट वन इज जीरो टॉलरेंस एंड सेकंड इज विच टॉलरेंस। जीरो टॉलरेंस का मतलब बिल्कुल भी टॉलरेट नहीं किया जाएगा, मतलब कोई उसका हल्का सा भी कॉपी नहीं कर सकता। और जीरो विथ टॉलरेंस में कुछ पार्ट मतलब 10% 15% हम कॉपी कर सकते हैं। स्टेजेस ऑफ प्लेगियरिज्म, 4 स्टेजेस है। स्टेज 0 लेस देन 10% सिमिलरिटी, स्टेज 1 मोर देन एंड लेस देन मोर देन 0 एंड लेस देन more than 0 and less than 40%. Stage 2 between 40 and 60 and stage 3 more than 60%. Last point, methods for controlling. How we can control plagiarism? So by taking help of technology, हम टेक्नोलॉजी की हेल्प से उसको कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं। By taking promising note at the time of completion, जब भी हम कंप्लीट कर रहे हैं उस टाइम पे हम एक नोट पे उनका परमिशन ले सकते हैं, जैसे हमारे भी फॉर्म में होता है टेट के एग्जाम या कोई भी तो वेरीफाइड का फॉर्म आता है वैसे। लास्ट टॉपिक स्वयं, इसका फुल फॉर्म है स्टडी बेस्ड ऑफ एक्टिव लर्निंग फॉर यंग एस्पायरिंग माइंड। हम जैसे लोगों के लिए ये है, मतलब हम जैसे लोग इसमें ज्वाइन हो सकते हैं। मेड विद द हेल्प ऑफ MHRD एंड AICTE। व्हाट इज द फुल फॉर्म ऑफ MHRD? उन्होंने और AICTE ऑल इंडिया काउंसिल फॉर टेक्निकल एजुकेशन ने इन दोनों ने मिलकर इसको बनाया है। कोर्सेज फ्रॉम स्टैंडर्ड 9 टिल ग्रेजुएशन इज अवेलेबल हियर। 9th स्टैंडर्ड से लेकर ग्रेजुएशन तक के सारे कोर्सेज अवेलेबल हैं। मोर देन 2000 कोर्सेज आर अवेलेबल। ऑल द कोर्सेज आर फ्रीली अवेलेबल एक्सेप्ट द सर्टिफिकेट। सिर्फ सर्टिफिकेट के लिए हमें पे करना पड़ेगा, बाकी किसी के लिए नहीं। Prepared by well-known educator of IIM, IIT, etc. Material are available as e-content, e-tutorial, assessment and discussion form. And last point, courses are available.
Meghna Rawat, roll number 38, and my first mind map is about WebEx online 2. So WebEx, first one is about. So it was developed in 2007 by Cisco company, and it is an American software. It is similar like Google Meet, Zoom platform, but it is a private platform where you have to pay. It provides some free online sessions, but you have to pay for using that platform. Now you can use it in Android, iOS and Windows. Now next is identity. Here, so the three main identity, the face of the app is inclusivity, accessibility and security. So inclusivity, it is similar like ICT in education. So inclusivity is it includes everyone irrespective of their language and geographical area. And accessibility, it is available to everyone, and it's and security. So since it is a private platform, similar like Google gives the security of saving our information and not providing it to others. Similarly, WebEx also gives that security for sharing our information. Now next are key features. So this software provides calling, messaging and meeting. 3 features there are. You can call, you can arrange a meeting and even message through this software. Now next, moving to advantages. So there are 7 advantages. First is two-way interaction. So of course it is an online meeting, so there is two-way interaction. There is clear audio and video. So it provides HD quality audio and video. Then material sharing security. Similar, the security it provides. So there is material sharing security. So you can have your meetings private. Then interaction with your LMS. So LMS is learning management software. Integration with your LMS. So this software is integrated with apps like Moodle, Scholarly. So if in Moodle, if you set that you have to provide an online meeting through WebEx, you can do it. Next is effective student-teacher teaching. And last one is learning never stops. So you can join from anywhere and any place. Next is disadvantages. So there are 2 disadvantages. It is not user friendly and costlier. The reason why people do not use this software is that it has advanced interface. So it is hard to understand what are the options given and how to work on the app, and it is costlier. So it gives online meetings for free online meetings for only some time. There is very short limit, and then you have to pay for your other meetings. Next is Google Meet. Same, about features and pros and cons I discussed. So firstly, it is about. So it was launched in 2017 by Google, and you can use it in Android, iOS and Windows. Next is features. So yes, the face of the software is Meet on any device. You can connect through phone, your laptop, computer. Then Meet clearly, HD videos and quality. Meet safely. Same, the safety protections are given here. Meet everyone, so you can connect to anyone present anywhere. Then Meet from anywhere. Next are the advantages. So you can, first advantage is host large meetings. So here it provides 50 to 100 people in one accommodation. Means it provides a provision of 50 to 100 people in one meeting. And similarly here also there is paid version if you want to
use other features, advanced features. Then next is share screen. Similarly, like Zoom, here you can also share screen. Then take control. Now here to join a meeting, you have the host has the control of the meeting. So if he or she allows anyone to his or her meeting, that's the control. Then you can join from your phone. You can directly, you do not need to download this app, and you can directly join through Gmail. Then stay connected, and you can even broadcast events here. Like now there is features of live recordings, live streamings, and seminars. Now the disadvantages, there are 4 disadvantages. First one is screen sharing problem. Now here you can see it is an advantage, but here you can see this is disadvantage. Why disadvantage? Because you can only share one screen at a time. Now this that's why Zoom is more used. That's why Google Meet is less used according with the Zoom. Next is limited feature in comparison with in the market. There is competition, so it has limited features. Then you need a permission to join in a meeting, and there is browser freezing problems. Now many people have complained about browser freezing problems here. Now next one is NROE, National Repository Open Education Resource. Now about, it was launched by CIET NCRT in 2013. CIET is Center of Information Education Technology. Now next is, now if you open NROE, there are search bars. So there are 3 search bars: search concept, browse concept, and resource library.
Today's my topic is about SWAYAM. What is SWAYAM? The full form of SWAYAM is Study Web of Active Learning for Young Aspiring Minds. SWAYAM course is made with the help of MHRD and AICTE. There are so many courses available from standard 9 to till graduation. More than 2000 courses are available for all the students. All the courses are available free. If you want to get the certificate, you have to pay some fees for the certificate. SWAYAM is prepared by the well-known educators of IIM, IIT, etc. There are so many materials available in the form of e-content, e-tutorial, assessment, and discussion form, from which we can get our learning materials. Courses are available for subjects such as engineering, science, commerce, language, etc., from which we can choose our subject and get the study material as well as the learning material from SWAYAM platform. Thank you.
Good morning all. My name is Shruti Sharma, roll number 54. My topic is ICT in curricular, audio and video streaming. So first is available platforms. Audio and video streamings are available on Netflix, Amazon, Disney, Hotstar, ZLive, SonyLive, and there are so many other platforms are available. Next is uses in education. How we can use audio and video streaming on our education. So student and teacher can upload their streaming YouTube videos, lectures on that platforms. And next is OBS Studio. So what is OBS Studio? It is an open source software. It is useful to video and screen recording. And it is also available on Google. Next is benefits. What is the benefits of audio video streaming? Free of cost. So videos and audio are available of free of cost on OBS Studio also. And next is MOOC. MOOC. What is MOOC? MOOC is a massive open online courses. X focus on the scalability and C focus on community and connections. Massive. There are so many courses are available on MOOC. Open. All courses are open for all, free of cost, and affordable to all the students. And open registration, and other online real-time interaction. There are no fixed time for students. They can watch videos as per their convenience and see courses. Self-paced start and dates. We can start course as per our convenience, and college credits are also available. Badges are also given on the basis of our courses. Role of instructor. There are so many videos, lectures, and other learning materials are also available on the MOOC. Learning community. It is focused on learning of communities, scripted and assessment and feedback. Assessment, we can assess our course learning, and we can feedback.